Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be my weekly reviews, and I have quite a few things to talk about this week, so I would just get straight into it. And starting off as usual with the TV shows that I've watched over the past week, I managed to finish Heroes Season 2. I'm slowly making my way through a rewatch of the show, or at least a rewatch of the first 3 seasons because I've never seen Season 4, but I know I will not get this done by the time Heroes Reborn starts, so I'm thinking I might, I'm still going to keep watching, like, my rewatch of Heroes, but I'll probably just wait until I'm done with that and just then catch up on Heroes Reborn. So I'm hopeful that I can get everything done, like, watched in, a couple of weeks if, I plan it out accordingly. So yeah, I will, I do want to finish watching this show though, as I actually didn't, when I was rewatching it, I was like, because I know a lot of people like hate on season 2, and I was just like, yeah, it's not as good as season 1, but I honestly don't think it's that bad. Even though there was a lot of stuff I'd actually forgotten about because it's been a while since I've seen season 2, but I was just sort of watching it and I'm like, because I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about Heroes side quest into the past, and I forgot David Anders was a bad guy in this and all of that, but yeah, on the whole, season 2 is not that bad, as I said, but and I actually think it could have been really good if obviously the writer's strike hadn't happened, because there was some really good ideas in season 2. It's just I think they didn't have I guess because it was only like 11 episodes, they didn't really have I guess the time to actually delve into some of the story arcs and that. So but yeah, probably I would give season 2 of Heroes a 7.5 out of 10, because yeah, I liked it. It's just, yeah, obviously not as good as season 1. So, and then going into the movies that I've watched in the past week, first off, I rewatched Age of Ultron because I got the Blu-ray when it came out, and of course I had to watch it because yeah, I loved Age of Ultron almost as much as the first one, which I know is probably not a popular opinion, because I think fan opinion is most people prefer the first one, like, still, and then like it's either you love the second one or you don't. I think that's basic. It's very divided. But I loved Age of Ultron. I had such a fun time watching it at the movies. I saw it twice, which nowhere near my record of seeing the Avengers 7 times in the movies, because I loved the first one, but obviously money issues. I didn't have enough yeah, my finances are a bit tighter than they were a few years ago, so I had to make do with just 2 trips to see it. But I loved it, and I'm definitely excited for future installments in this MCU. And yeah, and because the Avengers is one of my most watched Blu-rays, and so I'm thinking I'm curious to see, say this time next year, whether Age of Ultron will garner that much, like, many watches or that, but, because it's kind of interesting, because obviously, like, you can just put on the Avengers and just watch that, and, you don't have to watch any of the other MCU films, and then, but, because Age of Ultron is a sequel, it's sort of like, do I just put that one on, or do I want to watch all the other ones in the lead up to that, or, rewatch the Avengers first, and then that? I don't think it'll be one that I'll necessarily watch on its own, but we'll see, because I do like, as I said, I did, like, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. Yes, I know it's not the best movie ever, but I loved it, and I had such a fun time with it. And yeah, it's I liked that we got to see a bit more character development in this story. I loved the backstory they gave Hawkeye because, you know, obviously he was like really underused in the first film, and I find him a fascinating character, Hawkeye. So I was especially, I mean, he's not one of my absolute favorite Avengers, but I do like his character. So I was, you know, glad that we got to see more of him and more of, you know, I guess personal life. And yeah, and you know what, I actually did like the Bruce Banner Natasha Romanoff romance. I know a lot of people hated that, but I thought I liked it. It was you know, I didn't have an issue with it. And so, you know, I'm curious to see where that will, if that will like go anywhere. But and I say this as like, you know, someone who actually did ship you know, Natasha and Clint back when the first film came out. But yeah, but no, I liked, you know, the you know, the character development and that. And yeah, I just sort of liked the whole oh, I actually have to mention I do like the running gag of you know, Captain America's, you know, whole language thing. I thought that was actually even more funny. You know, that, well, I suppose for me it's the third time I've seen it, but yeah, I just sort of like that. And it's also the twins. I do like. I know a lot of people had issues again with how they were like written into the story, but like, because obviously it was quite a contrast, like different from their comic book story because of, you know, I guess rights issues and stuff like that, but because they couldn't obviously do the full backstory. But I liked the twins, and even though I did I think I mentioned that I preferred Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. The Pietro or Peter, I think pretty sure this one's Pietro in the Age of Ultron. He did grow on me, and yeah, and obviously by the end of it I was like, what? You know, sort of like you start off like being quite lukewarm to him, and then by the end of it you're like devastated at the end with what happens to his character. But no, I do like Age of Ultron quite a lot, and also yeah, and I love James Spader voicing Ultron. Cause, yeah, I love, because James Spader is like one of the best parts of The Blacklist, which I watch, and yeah, just seeing him voicing Ultron is just so like deadpan and snarky and everything. And yeah, I mean, Ultron's not my favorite villain in the MCU. That's still Loki, but I thought, you know, if obviously couldn't have Loki as a villain, I did like Ultron in that aspect. So, but yeah, as I said, I gave Age of Ultron a 10 out of 10. So, and then I rewatched Apollo 13. It's been years since I've seen Apollo 13 because, well, according to my film aficionado page, the last time I watched it was like in July 2011. So I was well and truly due for a rewatch because it is a really good film. And but the main reason that I was in the mood to rewatch it was because I finished reading The Martian by Andy Weir, and because I absolutely loved that book, but I obviously took that in my wrap up, and basically I was like, because they kept referencing, you know, the various Apollo missions, and I think 13 kept cropping up, and I was like, you know what, I'm really in the mood to watch Apollo 13, and yeah, so that's what I did. And yeah, it's still a, you know, great film even on a rewatch. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's sort of a because I really like Tom Hanks in this film, because I'm slowly, obviously, there's still quite a few Tom Hanks movies I haven't seen, but this is probably one of my favorites that he's done. But I really liked the whole aspect of, it's a because I think at the end they called it a successful failure. I think that's what they called the mission, because like obviously like the mission failed because they didn't get to the moon, but it was successful because they brought everyone back safely, like when they're like stuck in space and that. So I sort of really thought it was quite interesting, and I also kind of liked the whole parallels, like when you're watching it, because like when the media, they didn't like show the initial broadcast that the astronauts were doing, but then once the story broke about them being trapped up there, that's suddenly they were this story was, I guess, just sort of how that parallel, like, because it was boring when it was like going all well, and then suddenly once it went wrong, it was like all anyone would talk about. And obviously nothing's changed, because that's still pretty much how the media works in today's society, but I did sort of find that aspect fascinating. And I always liked the scene where I don't know if he's media or public relations, but the guy comes and asks the wife if they can put the satellite on the roof, and she pretty much gives them a piece of her mind for like suggesting that you wanted nothing to do with my husband when he was like doing these broadcasts and that, and now suddenly you're all like over it. And yeah, I sort of liked that tension, and that is because that was the thing that, like, you really got that tension, especially when they're like up in the like, I guess, shuttle or space shuttle, and yeah, then they sort of have to like sort of pilot it as close to Earth as they possibly can. And then also when like they're just sitting there in the cold and like the dark, and just like you get like a really claustrophobic feel, and you get there's always like a danger. You like just the tension throughout the film, I thought was done really well. And yeah, I also like it's just like little moments like that. And also I do have to say, when they're like at the house and everyone's sort of waiting around for news and that, and they have Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin there, and she's like, can you sit with my mother, like, or the Tom Hanks's mother in the film. I can't think of what the guy's name is, Tom Hanks's character's name is, but she's like, can you like sit with her, because like obviously she's quite frail, and like she's suffering from dementia, and she's just kind of, she looks up at them and she's like, are you in the astronaut program, like kind of like that. I sort of just really like those like moments like that. And but yeah, Apollo 13 is just a really great film, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, because I really do really do like it, and it holds up on rewatch. So I think, yeah, definitely in the future we'll be rewatching this one more often. I'm not gonna let like 4 years go between viewings, but yeah, Apollo 13, really like this film. And then I watched Foxcatcher, which was a film I haven't seen before, and it also was nominated for a few Academy Awards, like Best Director. There's a few Best Acting nominations, like Steve Carell and Mark Ruffalo. And this is a bit of a weird film for me, because I did like it. It's as people have mentioned, it's a very slow-paced film. Like, you sort of just have like quiet moments, and then like you get this sort of tension building, and then like everything just kind of happens all at once. Then it's just yeah, it was good. Like, I didn't actually know anything about the story. Like, all I knew was that it's the story of the US wrestling team, and then, you know, in the lead up to the 88 Olympic Games in Seoul. And I was actually, because I was like, I didn't know, obviously, as I said, I didn't know the actual story. So I was sort of like watching, it's like, oh yeah, this is like, you know, it's different, but it was like, I was sort of engaged in the story. And I was just, and then the ending happened, and I was like, what the hell? And it just kind of came from nowhere because I wasn't expecting it. And because, like, as I said, didn't know the story. And then I was just like, huh. So yeah, it just sort of, that ending just threw me off. It was like, yeah, it's just, it's kind of like one of those ones. It's like, it's a really good film, but it's like really depressing. And then, I just, I don't know what to think. It's sort of, like, it's one of those ones that, you know, I'm glad I've seen for the sake of seeing it. It's, as I said, brilliantly acted. Like, Steve Carell, I was actually kind of, you know, like, surprised by, because I was like, I barely recognized him, but I mean, I knew it was him because obviously I knew he was in the film, but I knew nothing about the character he was actually playing. And yeah, he was terrific in this film. Yeah, really creepy, and because you know, because he's has really, like, I guess, quiet mannerisms, and then as he's like goes on, you sort of don't really know what the character's gonna do. And it's you know, it's got a I don't know the word to describe it is, but yeah, it's his personality is just very I guess out there is probably the best way I could describe it. But yeah, it was just, yeah, because I can see why the film got a makeup nomination, like, for best makeup. I don't know who actually won best makeup. They may have won it. I know they got a nomination for it, but yeah, no, it was a really good film. Like, also, like, Channing Tatum, he was almost unrecognizable, because it was like, oh, I forgot because I actually forgot Channing Tatum was in this film. But yeah, he was really good. He sort of just, again, like, because the characters are sort of like withdrawn and that, but when they, I suppose that sort of makes their actions more profound. It's like when you have like like they have their outbursts and that, it's like you really pay attention to that. And yeah, so Channing Tatum and also Mark Ruffalo, he was also, like, they were really, like, they worked really well together. And yeah, it's just the ending, just, I wasn't expecting it. And but I do think it's probably not a film I'd be in a major hurry to go out and rewatch, because, like, it's good, but I don't think it has much, like, replay value. So I'm going to give Foxcatcher an 8 out of 10, because, like, it is, as I said, it is a good film. Just, yeah, just not one of those ones where you really want to, like, as I said, go out and rewatch. But, so that's Foxcatcher. And then I watched Centurion, which was a film I hadn't seen before, and, I don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. I mean, because it's directed by Neil Marshall, who directed Dog Soldiers, and I know he directed Doomsday, but I haven't seen that one. But he also directed an episode of Game of Thrones. But yeah, I think, like, the acting was good, the action was good. Like, I liked the historical setting, like, as I find, like, you know, with the Roman Empire and that, and because I've got, you know, I find ancient Rome quite fascinating. And yeah, but I think the pacing of the story felt a bit off, because it's like you didn't really know. Well, I suppose it was sort of like I had a hard time following the character motivations of the story. Like he's sort of like, oh, we've got to get to Rome and like where the Cape base is, and we've got to escape. I don't know what the other group was called. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, the story itself I don't think was that good. Well, it was good, but not like in an engaging type of way. Like yeah, because it's just sort of where it ended just felt very abrupt. Like I don't know if that was meant to be a sequel or if there is a sequel. It was just very weird how it ended. But Michael Fassbender, he was great in this as, which was actually the main reason I wanted to check this film out, because I do like Michael Fassbender as an actor, and yeah, so he was good. It's actually kind of surprising seeing how many faces I actually recognized in the movie, because you had Noel Clarke, you had the guy who plays Davos in Game of Thrones again, and yeah, it was just sort of, I was like, oh, I recognize all these people, but yeah, I don't really know where else I'm going with the story. So I think I'm gonna say it was good, but I'm not in a major hurry to rewatch it. Like I'm glad I've finally seen it, because trying to going through the films in my collection, but I'm gonna give Centurion a 7.5 out of 10. I think so. Yeah, and then I rewatched The Queen, which I haven't seen for a few years, and just a really good, I guess, drama, documentary type film on, I guess, how the royal family and the British government dealt with the death of Princess Diana. I just thought it was done really well. Also, Helen Mirren is fantastic in this film as the Queen. She really sort of conveyed, I guess, sense of hopelessness that the the Queen and the royal family felt throughout what was happening, because it's like, they were trying to mourn in private, but the public, they wanted a response. They wanted to connect with the royal family, because the public was in mourning. And I just thought those parallels were done really well. And because also, like, throughout the film you had actual footage from the media and news stories and that, and I thought that gave the film a real authenticity. And yeah, it was quite fascinating to see the film, watch the film. And I also, who plays the guy who plays Tony Blair in the film, he was really good. I'm blanking on his name, because I know Helen McCrory, she's Draco's mother in Harry Potter. That's where I know her from. She played his wife, and I thought that aspect was done really, the I guess political aspect was done really well, because he's trying to get them to make a statement, lower the flag at Buckingham Palace, show public respect, I guess, show the public that I guess you're respecting not so much their wishes, but to show that you're sympathizing. I think that's probably the best way I can say that word, describe the situation, to show that you're sympathizing with the public, just how they all dealt with the grief that was happening. And because it's obviously it was such an enormous event, and And I think because also at the time, like, the royal family, like, they were, like, it was probably their lowest point, you know, in terms of their popularity. And I think it was showing how, because, you know, Tony Blair, he was on the forefront. He was, like, you know, pushing, you know, for the people's princess, and, like, describing Diana, and, you know, everyone was, like, I guess he was trying to, I think he described it as, like, he was basically saying, he's like, I've got to save them from themselves, because, like, they were literally, like, basically handing themselves out in, you know, the public arena the longer they kept, you know, putting off, I guess, you know, being in public. And yeah, I thought that was done really well. And yeah, the Queen, it's just a really good film. And so I think probably going to give the Queen an 8.5 out of 10. Then I watched John Carter, which I had never seen before. I know this film got shat on at the box office. I know there's probably virtually no chance in hell there'll ever be a sequel to this film, which I'm actually kind of disappointed about, because I had such a fun time with the film. It wasn't as bad as what I was expecting it to be. Yes, it's not the greatest story ever, but, you know, it was science fiction, and most sci-fi stories I really enjoy, and this one was no exception. I sort of liked the whole, you know, like, you know, I guess the whole, it's from Civil War and then ended up on Mars, but it wasn't Mars, and then, you know, the whole, I guess, mythology aspect of it with the two species. And I liked the green guys, who I can't think of what their names are, but they kept calling him Virginia. I thought that was funny. And he's like, no, my name's John Carter, I'm from Virginia. And then, like, it was, they did, because it's like they couldn't understand each other, but then like, it got to the point, and then suddenly he was like, hang on, I can understand you. So I thought that aspect was quite interesting. And then and yeah, I just really enjoyed the film. And but it was probably filming. Sorry about that. Yeah, so John Carter, I'm probably just trying to think. I'm probably going to give John Carter a 7.5 out of 10, because, yeah, as I said, I just had a really fun time. I enjoyed the, like, yeah, just the whole different world aspect. Like, you know, it sort of, I guess not so much realness, but you know, it was taking place, like, you know, in, I guess, our type of reality, but at the same time, because, you know, it was the same, it's like the scene where they were going through the different planets in the solar system, like, because, you know, that there was, like, the parallels with, like, the similarities were there, but there were different names for all of them, and I kind of liked how that aspect was done. But yeah, I really enjoyed John Carter, so that's that. And I would have liked to have seen a John Carter on Mars. I know probably I'm in the minority for that, but so yeah. And then out of the, like, regular films I've seen, I also watched Chappie, which I again hadn't seen before, and I know this film's gotten a lot of mixed reviews, but I really actually enjoyed it. Again, it's another film that I had a lot of fun with. And I sort of like the whole concept of, the police robots, and then, having um, a robot that can think for himself. And yeah, I mean, the film was a bit all like, I mean, there was some, like, I guess, plot structure problems, because it really did feel like the film went all over the place. Like, it wasn't really sure what direction it was going. I didn't have an issue with the guys who were like the criminals, because I know that seems to be people's main, I guess, one of the main issues that they had with the film. But I liked it. I thought it was funny how I liked when they were like teaching him how to be Chappie how to be gangster, and then also the oh, the scenes where they're like, he's busting cars, like, that scene was hilarious. But I was actually surprised. There's like also a lot of heart in the film. And I mean, I was one of the people that actually did feel sorry for Chappie when he was like going through, they like dumped him out in the streets, and he was like trying to get back, and like he was basically a kid. And yeah, it was just, I mean, maybe that's just because I'm a sap, but I really felt for him. And but no, I just liked the film. That's basically all it comes down to. I liked Hugh Jackman in his role, even though I wish we'd seen more of like that aspect of it, because I didn't really feel there was that much conflict. Like, I know he was like the bad guy, but you didn't really get much of a threat from him. It was just sort of like, oh, I want to use this human-controlled device thingy instead of these robots. And that was basically it. Like, I mean, at the end you sort of got the whole punch-up going on, but yeah, I would have liked to have seen more in regards to that aspect of the film. And also, Sigourney Weaver is like, so she was barely in the film. She just basically showed up to say no and, stop, what's going on, and that was it. So, but yeah, no, I like Chappie, and I'm probably gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. So the last film that I have to talk about is a movie that I saw at the cinema this past week, and that was Everest. Now, because this is based on a true story of a expedition to, Mount Everest. And I didn't actually know the true story. Like, again, it's like sort of one of those things. So the film, it was good, but it was like really depressing, because it's like, I thought it would be one of those stories like, they were trapped and against all odds, they managed to survive. But yeah, it wasn't like that at all. It was just very, like, I guess, harrowing, like seeing them, like, the survivors struggling, like, and Beck, I think that's the guy who they thought was dead, but then he actually came back. Like, yeah, just sort of like seeing them struggle against the elements and everything, and it was yeah, almost brutal to watch, seeing that. And it's just like, I basically told myself, I was like, I'm never going, well, if I'm ever going mountain climbing, I'm not climbing in Everest, because, well, I wouldn't even make it to Camp 1 probably, so there's no, yeah, there's no worry in regards to that aspect, so I don't think I'll be climbing Everest. But yeah, just, I sort of watched it, I was like, why do people put themselves through this? It's like, would have to be one of the most grueling, like, physical tasks in the, like, on the actual planet. And yeah, I just, like, seeing the like, the story play out, I was just kind of like, But, it was good. It was like, you sort of got the, like, it was very minimal cast, so you sort of you got to, like, so I suppose it's like how minimal it was, you sort of got, like, there was more of a sense of danger, like the threat was there. I mean, not just obviously when the tragedy happened, but in the lead up to it. And I sort of liked how that played out. And oh, but I do have to also, because it was led by a Kiwi group. Most of the accents were Kiwi, and that kind of threw me off a bit, because it's sort of like, even though obviously, you know, being Australian, New Zealand is like next door, except not like right next door, because they're like across the what's the ocean that separates Australia and New Zealand? I have no idea. Geography was not my strong point. Yeah, so basically, yeah, we're just hearing like the accents, and even Keira Knightley had a Kiwi accent, and that sort of was like, just not what you were expecting. So, but yeah, and again, Everest, I think it kind of like with Foxcatcher, like, you know, it was a good film, but I don't think I would be in a rush to go out and rewatch it again. So, but like, it was like, you know, a spectacular film to watch, like, because with the scenery and all of that. But yeah, just, I don't know, it's just probably not a film that I would yeah, really be in a hurry to go and see again. But I'm still going to give Everest an 8 out of 10, because, you know, it is a good film, but just, yeah, not again, doesn't have a lot of replay value. So, so yeah, that's basically it for this week's film review series. So, thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!